A dead man speaks from beyond a glowing vault. A cloned emperor doubts his own soul, and a girl sees a future she can't change. Foundation Season 3 Episode 3 didn't just move the story forward, it cracked the very foundation of fate itself. Episode 3 of Season 3 drops us right into the aftermath of the emotional chaos left in Episode 2. The tone has shifted, it feels darker, more uncertain. The Empire is starting to feel the cracks, both within and outside its walls. And with each scene, the illusion of control gets harder to maintain. We open with Brother Day standing before the remains of the destroyed Starbridge monument, not physically, but in a holographic projection he watches alone. It's not just a flashback, it's a reminder. The pain of that first terrorist attack back in Season 1 is haunting him again, and this time, there's no scapegoat left to blame. You can see it in his face. He's starting to question the very system that raised him. The clone dynasty was designed to be perfect, predictable, and emotionless. But Brother Day is feeling something dangerous. Doubt. Meanwhile, in the vault on Terminus, something strange is happening. Hari Seldon, or at least his digital version, begins to glitch. Gall notices it first, a flicker in his voice, a tremor in his logic. It's like he's being overwritten or corrupted. But by what? Or by who? This moment isn't loud or explosive, but it's one of the most important scenes in the episode. If Hari's plan is breaking down, then psychohistory itself might be at risk. Elsewhere, Salvor and Gall continue to explore the vision of the future shown to them, a galaxy under siege, ruled by a mysterious figure with terrifying power. We now get a clearer look at what many believe is the Mule. The scenes here feel like something from a dream, blurred, haunting, and filled with fear. Gall's reaction is pure horror, but she doesn't run. She knows she has to change this future. Even if she doesn't yet know how, there's a moment when Salvor asks, what if it's already too late? That question lingers long after the scene ends. Back in Trantor, Demerzel continues her quiet manipulation, this time guiding Brother Don toward a decision that doesn't seem to be his own. She uses soft words and gentle tones, but her power is growing more visible. She doesn't raise her voice, but she controls every conversation. One chilling moment is when she reminds Dawn, you are not meant to question your design. That line says everything about the world they live in. Free will is an illusion, at least in the eyes of the Empire. Another important thread in this episode is Bail Rios. After being disgraced and exiled, he's back, and the Empire wants him to lead a new military campaign. He's reluctant at first, but the fire in his eyes returns when he learns the true scale of the threat. The way he studies the Prime Radiant, how he listens to Seldon's words with both awe and suspicion, it shows he's no ordinary soldier. He's a strategist, a thinker, and possibly a future threat to both sides. You can feel it. He's going to become a key player in this war. The episode also gives us a rare, quiet moment between Gall and Salvor. They talk about fate, about time, and about the lives they left behind. There's a deep sadness between them, not just because of what they've lost, but because of what they're starting to realize. They may never have control over their own lives. The future they're fighting for might not belong to them at all. By the end of the episode, everything feels like it's on the edge. We get no big battles or explosive moments, but the tension is everywhere. The vault pulses with strange energy. Demerzel watches everything with a calm smile, and the galaxy itself feels like it's holding its breath. Episode 3 isn't about action, it's about positioning. The pieces are moving into place, and whether the characters know it or not, the game has already started. The heart of Episode 3 lies not in battles or explosions, but in people and the impossible choices they face. Every major character in this episode is being pushed to a limit, or slowly unraveling under the weight of destiny, control, and fear. Let's break them down one by one. Gall Dornick, the seer who doesn't want to see Gall, is once again at the emotional center of the episode. Her visions are becoming stronger, clearer, and far more terrifying. She isn't just seeing the future anymore, she's feeling it. The horror she experiences in those dreamlike sequences is personal. When she watches the galaxy fall into chaos under the Mule's rule, we see a side of her that's both brave and broken. But here's the twist. Gal is starting to realize she may have more power than Hari ever told her. The future isn't just something she's observing. It may be something she's meant to change, and that's scary. Her conversations with Salvor show her growing uncertainty. When she says, "What if I'm wrong?" it's not self-doubt, it's guilt. She doesn't want to play God with time. She just wants to help people. But now she might have to do both. Salvor Hardin, the fighter with no ground to stand on. Salvor is the most grounded character on the show. She's always thinking in terms of strategy, protection, and survival. But this episode pulls the ground out from under her. Her belief in action is starting to clash with the uncertainty of prophecy. She wants to protect Gal, fight the Mule, and preserve the future. But more than anything, she wants answers. Salvor's strength is her independence, but that strength is being tested. When she tells Gal, "We can't just watch the future happen," she's not just being impatient, she's resisting helplessness. It's a slow, quiet moment of vulnerability for a character who's usually uncheckable. There's also something subtle growing between her and Gal, not just trust, but the shared pain of people who were taken from their own time. Salvor is grieving a life she never got to live. And you can feel it in every line she speaks. Brother Day. The Emperor who fears himself. Brother Day is easily the most fascinating part of the Empire arc in this episode. For a man raised to see himself as flawless, he's beginning to notice the cracks. The moments where he's alone are the most powerful, because in those silences, we see how fragile his belief in himself has become. There's one scene where he stares into a mirror for several seconds. He doesn't say a word, but the silence is deafening. He sees Cleon's face, his own face, staring back. And it's not comfort he feels, it's fear. Fear that maybe, just maybe, he isn't as in control as he thought. He questions his advisors. He doubts Demerzel's loyalty. He even hesitates before giving military orders. And that hesitation, it's new, it's dangerous, because when a ruler starts to doubt his own design, it only takes one mistake for everything to collapse. Demerzel, the machine behind the throne. If episode 3 has a quiet villain, it's Demerzel. Not in a traditional sense. She doesn't shout, or kill, or scheme in the open. But she's always watching, always guiding. And this week, her influence is growing. She speaks to Brother Don like a parent to a child, gentle, reassuring. But there's something chilling about it. She talks about the dynasty's divine order with the calm certainty of someone who's not just following a plan, but enforcing it. And when she says, "The system endures, even when men falter," it's clear she sees herself as more than just a servant. She's the guardian of the Empire's illusion. And she's not going to let emotion, rebellion, or even logic ruin it. What's most terrifying is that we still don't know her full plan. She serves the Empire, yes, but does she serve the idea of it, or is she using it for something else? Entirely, this episode shows she's willing to steer people subtly, quietly toward paths that feel like their own choice, but aren't. Bail Rios, the general with a conscience. Bail Rios returns to the screen with a quiet intensity. His scenes aren't loud, but they hit hard. He's not just a soldier. He's a man who lost everything because he questioned the system. And now that he's back, we see a different side of him, controlled, cautious, and incredibly sharp. He doesn't trust the Empire, and he doesn't trust Seldon either. But he studies both sides. He asks smart questions, he listens carefully. And most importantly, he doesn't let his emotions blind him. There's a reason he was once the greatest general in the galaxy, and we're starting to see why. Asterisk, there's also a personal touch to his story. His relationship with Glon is subtle but powerful. You can tell that his motivations aren't just political, they're human. He wants justice. He wants truth. And maybe, deep down, he wants to prove that a man can still matter in a universe ruled by machines and math. Asterisk, each of these characters is walking a tightrope between fate and choice. And this episode forces them all to look inward, to ask themselves who they really are, and whether they can live with what's coming. In many ways, this is the calm before the storm. But inside these characters, the storm has already begun. Asterisk. This episode may not have ended with a massive twist or cliffhanger, but it quietly planted several seeds that could completely change the story moving forward. Let's break down the theories and possible directions Foundation might take, based on clues, character choices, and hidden dialogue from Episode 3. Asterisk, Theory 1. The vault is failing, but why? Asterisk, we saw something subtle but important this episode. The vault, which usually glows with steady power and speaks with Seldon's clear voice, starts glitching. Hari stutters. His image flickers. He pauses mid-sentence like a computer that's lost connection. Asterisk, this might seem like a minor tech issue, but remember, the vault isn't just a hologram machine. It's powered by complex technology from the old empire and possibly even folded into the psychohistorical plan itself. If it's breaking down, there are only two possible reasons. Someone is interfering, or the plan itself is coming apart. Asterisk, one theory is that the Mule, the mysterious figure shown in Gal's vision, is already affecting time and space in subtle ways. Maybe his presence in the future is strong enough to start corrupting Seldon's projections in the past. It would explain why Gal feels pain during her visions and why Hari's data seems less stable. Asterisk, another possibility. Someone inside the Foundation is tampering with the vault. Could this be a splinter group trying to rewrite Seldon's plan? Or has Seldon's own consciousness evolved beyond his original programming and is now rejecting the strict rules he once created? Asterisk, Theory 2. The clone dynasty's genetic line has been compromised. Asterisk, there's been tension around the idea of genetic purity in the Cleon line for a while now. But in this episode, Brother Day's quiet reflections and doubts feel different. He's not just second-guessing himself. He might be feeling something foreign. Something human. Asterisk, here's what we know. The clones were designed to be identical in mind and body. Their lives are carefully controlled. But what if, and this is the theory, one of the recent Cleons wasn't an exact genetic match? What if Demerzel or another force modified the line without telling anyone? Asterisk, this would explain Brother Day's growing emotional responses. His temper, his fear, his moments of unexpected empathy. If even one gene is different, the entire concept of the dynasty collapses. That's a disaster the Empire can't afford, but one Demerzel might be willing to risk. Asterisk, why? Because if she controls who the Empire becomes, she controls the future more than psychohistory ever could. Asterisk, Theory 3. The Mule is already watching Gal through her mind. Asterisk, the Mule, though not seen clearly, is heavily teased in this episode's visions. Gal sees his rise as a force that can't be stopped, a future that feels like destiny. But what if the connection is already two-way? Asterisk, we know the Mule has psychic abilities in the Foundation novels, abilities to influence emotion, thoughts, even perception. What if those powers are already reaching into Gal's mind across time? Asterisk, this would explain why she's getting visions so strong they physically weaken her. It would also explain why she's having dreams of futures she's never seen and why she suddenly feels afraid of Hari Seldon's voice breaking down. Asterisk, a chilling theory. The Mule knows she's watching him, and he's watching her back. Asterisk, Theory 4. Hari Seldon's consciousness is evolving into something else. Asterisk, this one is deeper and a bit wild. We've always seen Hari as a man who uploaded his mind into data. He's logic. He's prediction. But what if, over time, his consciousness has evolved. Asterisk in this episode, he glitches, but not just like a failing AI. He seems confused, as if remembering something that isn't in his programming. That moment could mean that Hari's digital ghost has gone beyond simple prediction and into self-awareness. That would make him a threat to both the Empire and the Foundation. Think of it. A man made of math who starts thinking like a human. Again, he might break his own rules. He might try to fix mistakes that psychohistory never accounted for. That could lead to changes in the plan, unpredictable ones. And if Hari begins to live again in the vault, is he still a tool or a wild card? Theory 5. Demerzel is the true architect of the next crisis. Demerzel is loyal to the Empire, or so she says. But her role has slowly changed over time, from servant to guide to, now, silent ruler. And here's the theory. She's been shaping the entire political structure in secret. Remember when she told Brother Dawn, "You are not meant to question your design." That wasn't just control, that was ownership. And if she's influencing how the clones behave, how the military moves, and how the public sees the dynasty, then she's already more powerful than the emperors themselves. Some fans believe. Demerzel has a secret directive beyond the Empire, something rooted in the original robots from Asimov's universe. If that's true, she may be guiding the galaxy not toward Seldon's vision, but toward a machine-led order, where emotion, freedom, and human error are wiped out completely. It's not far-fetched. After all, we already saw her eliminate threats before with quiet, surgical precision. She doesn't need armies, she just needs time. And she's got plenty of that. Foundation doesn't always shout its secrets, it whispers them in background shots, in lines that seem casual, and in quiet visual choices. Episode 3 is full of these subtle moments. Blink and you'll miss them, but they add deeper meaning to everything happening. Let's break down the most interesting hidden details, visual symbols, and quiet clues you might have overlooked. 1. The mirror, Brother Day's identity crisis in one shot. There's a moment where Brother Day stares into a mirror. At first glance, it just looks like a man thinking, but watch closely. The lighting splits his face into one side in light, the other in shadow. It's no accident. That's a classic visual symbol for duality, the idea that someone is being torn into. This perfectly matches Day's arc in the episode. On the outside, he's still the Empire. On the inside, he's questioning everything, his design, his role, even his purpose. The mirror shows both versions of him, the perfect ruler and the man breaking underneath. It's a silent way of showing what he can't say out loud. He's afraid he's no longer himself. And mirrors always mean more in sci-fi. They reflect, yes, but they also distort. Is he seeing the truth, or just what the Empire wants him to see? 2. The Vault's Pulse, a new language of light. The vault glitches in this episode, but the light patterns it gives off are strange. They don't just flicker randomly. In fact, during the scene with Gal and the vault, the light pulses seem rhythmic, like a code. Some fans believe the vault's light could be a kind of visual language, possibly a backup way of communicating. If Hari's voice breaks down, think Morse code or early computer signals. This isn't confirmed, but the deliberate nature of the light changes feels too specific to be just a malfunction. And when Gal looks at the vault while it pulses, her face doesn't just show fear, it shows recognition, like something clicked. Is she starting to understand a deeper layer of Seldon's design? 3. Red robes and power shifts. Throughout this episode, several characters wear shades of red. Brother Day during his private council, Demerzel in one of her scenes with Dawn, and even some background figures during Empire scenes. Red in storytelling has always meant one thing, power and danger. But in Foundation, it seems to be a warning. Every time a character in red enters the frame, something is being manipulated. For example, Demerzel wears red when steering Dawn's thinking. A wears red while giving orders that go against tradition. Even a red-lit hallway is shown just before a critical conversation about rebellion. Could the show be using red too? Signal manipulation. It's subtle, but consistent. And it's a clever way to tip viewers off without a single word spoken. 4. The Mule's shadow, fear without a face. We don't see the Mule clearly in this episode. Just visions, flickers, blurred images. But the way he's shown matters more than what we see. In Gaul's vision, the Mule appears in the background, barely in focus. But the surrounding environment distorts, buildings crumble, skies darken, and people collapse in fear. This shows us something important. The Mule's power isn't just physical. It's mental, emotional, psychic. His very presence warps the world around him. This aligns with the idea from the books that the Mule can manipulate feelings, turning bravery into fear, love into loyalty. The fact that the show uses visual warping during his scenes suggests they're showing us more than just a dream. They're giving us a preview of his influence. 5. Book callbacks and hidden Asimov references. This episode includes a few nods to fans of the original novels. Quiet callbacks that add another layer if you know what to look for. Bale Rios himself is one. In the books, he's a famous general who challenges the Foundation during the Empire's slow collapse. The show paints him as thoughtful and strategic, just like in the novels, but also adds a layer of moral struggle that modern audiences can connect with. The line "even the stars obey" design is whispered during one of the Seldon projections. That's not just poetic, it's straight from the kind of language used in the books when discussing psychohistory. It shows how deeply the show wants to stay rooted in Asimov's ideas, even when it takes visual and story liberties. Finally, the Mule's blurred vision ends with a flash of a single eye, glowing faintly blue. This might seem minor, but Asimov fans know eyes and color often symbolize psychic influence. That one flash might be the only true look at the Mule we've had so far, a being who sees everything, even across time.